Welcome to another video on writing tips and tricks for the IELTS exam. In IELTS Writing Task 1, Academic, when you're asked to summarise the information in a line graph, a bar chart, a pie chart or a table, and the data relates to a period of time, you need to be able to describe change. So in this video, we're going to look at the first of three structures you can use to do that in the IELTS test in order to improve your grammatical range and accuracy. It will also help you with your IELTS preparation in terms of formal vocabulary, so that you don't use the adjective big, for example. I'm going to play a short extract from an early video in which I walk you through the structure, and then I'll tell you how you can practice using it in a fun way every day until it becomes second nature. The first of the three structures that we're going to look at is adjective plus noun. For example, there was a significant increase in sales. Significant is an adjective, increase here is a noun. Now, when you introduce the adjective plus noun combination in the system that we're going to follow, there was, not it had. We're assuming here that we're talking about historical data, so it's a time period that has finished. So there was, not it had. We're not talking about the graph or the line or anything like that. We're talking about what the graph represents, what the line represents. So there was, and with these nouns, don't forget at. Then I've given you four options here for big. You could say significant, considerable, marked, or substantial. For small, you can say slight or marginal. And sometimes it might be very big, so you could say dramatic. And any of these adjectives in this column you can use with any of these nouns in this column, depending on the information that you are summarising, depending on the data in the table, the bar chart, the pie chart or the line graph. I've given you effectively five ways of saying big or very big, because when you're summarising the main features, you're going to be focusing on the major changes rather than the minor changes. And then with the nouns, you can say increase or rise, so you can vary it. You don't have to keep repeating the same noun. Or you can say decrease, fall, or decline. And remember that the preposition is not of, it's in. When you're talking about the thing that increases or decreases, there was a significant increase in sales. Now, it is possible, if you're talking about the size of the increase or the decrease, to say there was an increase of 50%, let's say, but it would still be an increase of 50% in sales. And to avoid confusion, we're not going to be talking about the precise size of the increase when we're doing this structure. And we've got significant or slight, so you don't need to mention that at this point. You can go into the details in another sentence. Now, one last thing, there are Other expressions we can use when we're talking about line graphs, but we'll go into those in a separate video. The expressions we're looking at in this video you can use whether you're summarizing the data in a table, in pie charts, in bar charts, or in line graphs. Yeah, so line graphs will be a separate video for the more precise expressions you can use there. That's the grammatical structure and the formal vocabulary. So now let me tell you how you can practice using them in a fun way every day until they become automatic. We're talking Bitcoin Watch. Surf the internet and find a line graph that shows the changing price of Bitcoin, and then say aloud, for example, look, yesterday there was a considerable increase in the price of Bitcoin. It would be there was, past simple, because yesterday started and finished in the past. Then you could say, however, today there has been a slight decrease in the price of Bitcoin. It would be there has been, present perfect, because today hasn't finished. So the time period started in the past but continues until the present. And let me make it clear that I am not a financial advisor. I'm not suggesting that you either buy or sell Bitcoin. I'm suggesting a way in which you can practice your English for IELTS Writing Task 1 that is fun.